Okay, in this video, I'm going to go over how exposure affects your images as you're editing them, okay? So for this first example, I'm actually going to close out of this. I'm going to go open from computer. I'm going to open up this really bright, overly exposed image here. So I'm going to go here, hit open. And then I'm going to go to File, Open, and I'm going to open up Exposure 1. And I'm going to just show you guys the differences here. I told you guys before that it's better to have your picture underexposed than overexposed. So I'm going to open up one that's overexposed. Oops. Or underexposed rather. So this is underexposed. I'm just going to hit open. So with an image that's overexposed like this one, what you guys are going to be doing is you guys are going to be using brightness and contrast to control the exposure. So for this one, because it's overexposed, we want to add more shadows to it. So we're going to go to File, or not File, Edit, or Image rather, and then go to Adjustments, and you're going to go right to Brightness and Contrast. Now this is overexposed, that means there's way too much light. So what we want to do is we want to turn down the brightness. So notice as I turn down the brightness here, because when this was shot, it was overexposed, there's really not that much information here. So if I hit OK, now if I compare that to this one here where it was just a little bit overexposed, you'll see that that little bit of exposure will allow me to, a little bit of shadow will allow me to control a little bit more. So again, if your picture is too overexposed, you really cannot save it. So I would suggest you reshooting it and really checking out your light meter to make sure that you, can go back and save the image. So if you have something like the first image that I showed you, like that one right here, you really cannot save that. So if I undo that, yeah, something like this is way too bright. You really can't save it. Okay, so something that's exposed like this should be salvageable. Okay, now if we look at this underexposed image, we go to brightness and contrast. It's a little bright. I like this type of exposure, a lot more shadows, but we can expose that and make it a little bit brighter. Notice how there's more noise here. Noise is this, if I zoom in here, oops, sorry. If I hit OK here, what noise is all of this extra colors that you might see in here. That's the noise. But see how we were able to brighten this image up? Yeah, so we can still control that. So again, it's better to be underexposed than overexposed, okay? So that's just talking about exposure. Now I actually want you guys to edit. So I'm going to close out of this one. For this exposure 1, I want you guys to go to Image, Adjustments, and let's just turn this brightness down a little bit. Go ahead, add more shadows in there. You can also pull some of the contrast if you want. Hit OK. Then we're going to double click this, put your initials, underscore, exposure 1, hit OK. Oh, this should be overexposed. Hit 1 and hit OK, and then you're going to go File, save as a JPEG again. Hit Save, and then here we're going to go where it's underexposed. We're going to add a little bit more light. So we're going to go to brightness and contrast again. Increase our brightness, not too much. Then we're going to hit OK. Double click this, pH underscore underexpose 1. Again, for this underexposed image, I'm adding more brightness to it. Then I'm going to save it as JPEG. And that was how we would adjust and edit an overexposed image and an underexposed image, okay?